Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Corey Longnecker here with Vice and Villainy presents Foundry VTT. That would be kind of weird if I was suddenly part of Foundry. Um, Follow up, I know in my last video I said I had time, and I've recorded 2 videos because I have some time. This is the next. This will be coming out probably about a week after the other one. Wanted to talk about six other modules that I found to be super helpful in the games that I run. I'm going to be talking about Always HP by Iron Monk, Monster Blocks by Zeel, Not Enough NPCs by Ardit Tristan, Party Resources by Dave Lenz, Tab Chatlog by Cody, Swen, drowski, and VoiceActor by Blitz. All of these have a very particular, specific use for me. And I just wanted to go ahead and talk about all of them. In the last video, we talked about the scene tiler, and that's what you see up here. And just as a refresher, I can go lock those and turn those back on, just so you can see everything, because it'll be helpful with what I've got going on here. So yeah, I've already enabled them. Let's just look through the configurations to see if there are any configurations for these things. So Always HP does have one. The thing that you want to look at is HP, but this is supposed to be system agnostic. So it's going to be looking at this. So if you are running a different system and you are using hit points with a different attribute, you can change the resource to track there so it knows what to do. You can toggle defeated status on 0 horsepower, 0 hit points. That would be interesting. Clear death saving throws, clear after applying, allow double clicks, GM only, and show the window. So if you wanted to track it just as the GM, you could do that. If you wanted to hide it, maybe you're on a small display like it says here, you can turn that off. Clear after applying. If you have that checked, it'll clear out. Otherwise, it'll show you what the last number that you had in there was. Same thing with death saving throws. When you're healed, it clears them back. Really cool little thing. So we will jump right into Always HP. You can kind of see it got hidden up here. And this was, you can drag it back where you want. And essentially when you click on a token, you'll see that it, let me switch over to here so you can see better. It pulls up the character, the token, the actor, tells you how many hit points they have, and then you can apply you can set them to be dead, you can apply damage here, you can apply healing here, or you can fully heal them. So let's say I wanted to apply 45 damage. I click that, brings them down to 13. Now let's say I've got this character, C, who has 0 hit points and is on death saves. You can apply death saves that way. Maybe I fully heal them. Now they're back up to 72. They take 12 damage. They're down to 60, but they heal for 8. They're now at 68. So you can do all of the damage and healing and death saves right from this little toolbar down here. So as a game master, it's super helpful to be able to just flick around here, even when I don't run games in 5e, to be able to click on tokens and say, okay, now you're doing this or that. I've applied this much damage, this much health. Really simple, cool little module. So that's Always HP by Iron Monk. I'll put the link to the GitHub page in the description, but it is available through the module manager within Foundry. Next up, let's take a look at Monster Blocks by Zeel. So Monster Blocks is kind of cool in that it allows you to basically treat a monster with their character sheet the same way you'd see it in D&D Beyond. So right now you'll see this is like your typical character sheet. I can change the character sheet though to be the Monster Block sheet, and now it looks identical to D&D Beyond or the Player's Handbook or Monster Manual, whatever you want. It has that same sort of layout, and you can click on things and do stuff with it. It will open things up. Like if I want to cast Counterspell, it'll allow me to cast it that way. If I want to do a dagger attack, you'll see over here it has rolled dagger for me. We'll get into this one here in a second. That's tab chat. But it drops it out and kind of puts it in a familiar monster block. I prefer this when I'm running 5e for my monsters. I'm so used to this that I can easily find what I'm looking for. Putting it back into, I also like Tidy NPC. This is a good one. It's just not as, I don't know, like from a player perspective, I like it, but from a game master perspective, I prefer the monster blocks. So monster blocks is a cool one. It does have a dependency on another module called Math.js. So you'll have to install both of those and enable both of those for it to work. But that's monster blocks. Super cool, super easy. You can make all of your saving throws or ability checks, whatever you want to do there. Just a cool little, history, whatever. It's all in here. Just a neat little thing. So that's Monster Blocks by Zeel. I really like it. I highly suggest checking it out. Let's see what else is in here. Let's skip right over to tab Chatlog since I'm here. So you'll see here in tab Chatlog, I've got 3 tabs: out of character, roles, and in character. And effectively what it does is as you do things, like if I were to bring another acolyte in, you'll see that I get the pop-up, and under roles it tells me how many hit points they get. So it doesn't concentrate. It puts all of the roles in this role tab so as not to clutter the in-character or out-of-character chats. And you can use all of your normal tab stuff or /OOC, hello, and it will stick it in out-of-character chat. And that way you can separate out what you do. So for me, we don't really use in-game chat for anything but roles. So the other 2 tabs don't necessarily have a huge thing for me. But, I can see where for someone else who does use that, it's a good way to separate out, what is an actual conversation in the game, what is a conversation between party members out of the game or players out of the game, and then, let's dump all the roles in here so we don't have to go sorting through all these things. So again, that's tab Chatlog by Cody Swen. It's a really cool little thing. I use it quite a bit just to keep the roles kind of separate. I like it. So let's now go over to not enough NPCs. In fact, before I do that, let's go into configure settings and take a look at a couple of things. Let's go back to monster blocks and see what's there. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but I'm not going to edit it. Generated attack descriptions, casting features, hide secrets, show current hit points, show max hit points, offsets. You have a lot of control, of this stuff. You can even go how you want to, what you want the theme to be. So you can do it that way. So sorry to skip around there. I know it's going to kind of throw things off, but that's the thing for monster blocks. And then tab Chatlog has its here. So webhook for out of character chat. And that's for Discord. I don't use Discord with it, so I really don't know exactly what this does. So it might be something you want to look into if you do use Discord for gaming. When in the out-of-character chat, should in-character chat be converted to out-of-character chat? And should tab Chatlog be disabled in the Foundry stream view? So it's just a couple of other settings that you can do. So that's tab Chatlog. We're going to skip now to not enough NPCs. And while I'm here, let's look at it. You have export and import settings, which is, whatever you want to mess around with in here. I don't touch it because I don't need to touch it. saves NPC as a character. So it makes the generator save the NPC as a PC instead of an NPC. I actually find this useful because generally when I'm creating an NPC, it's going to be someone who is going to be interacting with the characters, and I find that their character sheet as a PC is a little more useful for me. And then lastly is their generate stuff here, and you can kind of go in and you can see, look at the, some of the coding that's behind it. I don't need to mess with it. I don't think you need to mess with it, but if you want to get into the nitty gritty, that is there for you. So that is not enough NPCs. And where not enough NPCs comes in is way down here at the bottom. Let me collapse this a little bit. You'll see a generate NPC button at the bottom of your actors tab. So if I click that, it pops up with a large screen here, and it gives you a lot of options. You can select the level. Like, let's say I want to bring in a level 8 NPC. I don't really care what race they are, but if you wanted to isolate a race, you could isolate a race. And you can affect the probability. You can mess with the probability. Like if you wanted to be more probable for a gnome to pop up than anything else, you could do that. I leave mine all at 1. This is forcing first and last names from specific races to be used. So it will auto-populate the first and last name there if you do that. You can choose what kind of gender, what kind of traits, what classes are available to come up, what kind of professions and relationships and sexual orientation. All that stuff you can leave out there, and it will auto-generate all of it. So if you're looking for a good maybe working class professional type person, you could leave it there. That's maybe just, maybe we leave all these relationships up and we leave all the orientations up, and we hit generate. Now it's generated a person. It gives you all their ability scores, their gender, their relationship, their orientation, what they do, age, languages, size, what they are, some traits, and then a plot hook about them. You hit accept, and it has created Errol Carteret. And it's given you all of these things to be able to use for Errol. You could put in a icon if you want to and go with that, but very simple, quick way to create an NPC. You could also jump into, whatever character sheet you wanted to do with it. But yeah, real fast way to create characters. I've used this quite a bit with people when, inevitably party always wants to talk to somebody who you didn't plan on talking to. You just had them as, default blacksmith. Well, now you can quickly create a blacksmith or whatever else you want. So that's generate Not Enough NPCs by Ardit Tristan. Really cool, fast way to get some NPCs going, and the ability to fine tune it. So we already talked about that. Let's look at party resources. Party resources is Party resources is another cool one that I use. It doesn't have any configuration here, so we won't touch that. Let me remember where they are. Aha, yes. So it's also in the Actors tab. It adds a button up here called Party Resources. And what this allows you to do is basically track different things. Like in one of my games, when people donate bits on Twitch, the players get advantage. Once they hit 500 bits, they get either an advantage die that anyone in their party can use to roll at any time for any reason, or they can make me, the game master, roll at disadvantage at any time for any reason. So I can track then how many advantage dice they have. If you want to track like stress, or if you're playing like, Call of Cthulhu or something, you want to track sanity as the GM for some other reason. Maybe you're applying something else to the party as a whole. Like in one of my quest games, I use stress, party stress. So if one party member starts acting a little funny, if they're pretty stressed out for whatever reason, I add a point of stress for the whole party because it affects the party. And when it hits whatever amount I choose, something bad may happen. So to give you an idea here, you could say, okay, let's create something here. We're gonna call it stress. The resource name is stress. Default value is 0. Minimum value is 0. Maximum value, let's just say it's 5. And you can allow the players to manage it or not. So for the advantage dice, I allow the players to manage it so that if they want to use it, they can click it. You don't have to do that. You can have full control as the GM, and that's it. So you can create the resource, and there you'll see stress. You can hide it from the players. You can edit it. You can delete it. You can go up. You can go down. You can add another one. Let's call it renown. Is that how you spell it? Or is it with a K? I don't know. Nope, that's renown. Renown. So this is how much people know about your party. Maybe the deeds that they have done have brought them a lot of attention, and you want to give them points for this. So maybe there's a max of 10. So as they do deeds, good or bad, they may pick up renown or lose renown. Maybe they do something really good. They save a village and people hear about it and they pick up a renown point. Maybe they defeat a dragon and they pick up another renown point. But then maybe they accidentally unleash an artifact that has a disease that spreads, and that doesn't look so good. So they lose a renown point. And what I use or have used renown in the past is maybe when they come to a town that they haven't been to before, their deeds precede them and people know who they are. So they get a discount at the inn or at the bar. People want to give them things or work with them or tell them stories or things like that. So that's how I use renown, and this is a really simple way to track it. So you can just kind of put it here, and if you use the pop out function, which is great, I highly suggest it, you can pop it out into another screen, and there you have it. So that's Party Resources by Dave Lenz. And it's another great little thing. I use it a lot. I really like it. And last but not least, let's pop into here and see if VoiceActor, it does, by Blitz. Allow owner recording, so it lets players record and play back their own actors. So what this module does is it adds a record button and a listen button so that you can record, if you use voices, what that character sounds like. As a GM, this is fantastic. I can, if I have created an NPC and I've created a voice for them, I can just do a quick, simple recording. And then when the time comes in game, if that NPC happens to come up, I can quickly listen to them and remember what the accent or voice is so that I don't, mistake and make a different one. So I find that to be super, super cool. And this lets, if you want your players to be able to do the same thing, you can do this. Or you can limit it to different permissions. So it's just a way to, basically the options are permissions. So if I go back to an actor, let's say Everil. Do I want Everil? Do I want C? Let's change the sheet. Let's use default sheet. There we go. So it doesn't work with all sheets, and that's something to note. But you'll see here that there is a microphone and a play button. So I could click here, and then it tells you if you want to overwrite it, you can shift click, but you can click it. It should pop up with a thing asking to use your microphone. You'll see here that in the tab, whatever it is, I use Chrome, that it puts a little thing up there, and then you can record. It is currently recording. I hit stop, and it stops. I can go back up. It says there's nothing recorded. It's interesting. Let's try this again. It's kind of strange. Test, test, 1, 2. Test, test, 1, 2. It's probably because I'm using the microphone to do this right now, and that's why it's not working. So, um, when your microphone's in use, the other one, it won't let you use it. So, note that that's where you click, it will record, you can play it back, and that's what that does. So, that's VoiceActor by Blitz. Super, super useful. I use it quite a bit. And then, just as a something else that you can do is, and this is from something else, but if you'll notice in journal entries, it also exists up there, which means if there's, an NPC or just a reference to someone, maybe you're making a reference to a historical figure and you're going to have that historical figure read something um, for some dramatic effect or something, you could record the voice that you'd like to use for them as well. So that allows you to do that. So that's VoiceActor by Blitz. Um, just a quick and dirty run through of all those things. I know it's been about 20 minutes on these 6. But yeah, so take a look at all of those. I find them useful. I don't use them all the time, but I use them a lot of the time. So thanks for stopping in. And yeah, check out our stream. It's on Monday, every other Monday night on Twitch. So Maddie Games with a Z. Called The Agency, where we play the quest system inside Foundry VTT. And it's some really good role play and really proud of it. I run the game and yeah. So check us out and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.